All right, welcome back. I hope you're having a good day. I'm going to start off by just reminding everybody that I've only been in the hobby for less than 3 years, never taken a class. I'm not trained or anything like that. So I am just learning as I'm going. Really, my whole point of the YouTube channel is just showing you guys as I learn along the way. But I've got about 3 trees like this that are kind of in this condition that I'm going to describe in a minute. But I've got about 3 in the pot this size. So this one's been in this pot for 1.5 years, and just about 3 months ago I wired it for the first time. And you can see it's actually got some really small leaves. This is a microcarpa, that would normally have the really big leaves on there, but because I've been pruning them pretty regularly and everything, it does have the smaller leaves. But when I first started buying bonsai substrate or whatever, I was getting the mix that they have at my local nursery that has lava rock, turfus, and then some pine bark vines. And that's they charge $35 for 5 gallons for that, and then they charge $45 for 5 gallons of lava rock, pumice, and just a little bit of pine bark vines. And so this is in the older mix that I used to get. And my dilemma, well, actually about a month ago, I noticed with all 3 of them that they kind of look like they're in mud. And I just kind of, it's not really a dilemma. It's just, I looked and I said, well, I'm going to have to repot all 3 of these next year, even though I was planning on letting them get really pot bound in there, maybe getting some aerial roots and just kind of, getting some age in the pot. This was at one point planted at about maybe this angle here. It kind of fell in a little bit and got like a little dark color on the tree there. So at one point I kind of just propped it up some more, but I didn't repot it or anything. But they are literally just kind of like, it looks like a brick of mud, and it really shouldn't be that way because it's in decent substrate. I mean, it's in the the cheaper version of it, but it's still decent, and it just seems almost as solid as a brick, as if it's just regular potting soil, like it's turning into peat on me or something. So this one seems to be getting worse and worse, and that blackness on the truck there seems to be getting worse and worse. So I just kind of, I was thinking I was going to repot all 3 of them in the spring. I decided I'm going to go ahead and just do this one today and see what it looks like. If it looks like I've kind of helped it out by doing it today, I'll leave the wire on, I'll leave all the leaves on and everything. If it looks like I helped it out, I'll go ahead and do the other 2 maybe later on this week. But I just kind of want to get a look and see what the soil is. Maybe it's just like the fertilizer breaking down on the outer sides of it. All right, so let's dive right in here and see what we got. I'll be putting it right back in that same pot. I do want to change as much of the soil out as I need to. First off, let's see. Still using the window screen. I may just reuse that. I don't think that's the issue with it. We'll see though. I got a size. I got the mesh sitting here. And I think maybe I was panicking over nothing. It really just kind of looks like it's just a little bit of peat that's kind of at the top of the old mix there. I guess just kind of, I don't know, coming to the top or whatever. Looks actually in really good shape. Roots are somehow in the shape of a horseshoe, which I think is the reason why I had to kind of put it in the pot like this. I never do any repotting work unless I can see on my 10-day forecast that the lows are going to stay above 60. And we're actually dropping below 70 for the first time since May. Tonight, actually. And then it's supposed to stay that way for 3 days. and then we're going to go back to lows being around 70, 71 again. So I'm in the clear there for sure. And it's going to stay outside and be in plenty of sun. We don't even get rain this time of the year. This thing will get so much sun. But I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity to try to fix these horseshoe-shaped roots. I think that's why I had it sideways in the pot, just because that's the way they were. I think now that it's a little more mature, I may be able to straighten them up just a little bit. You can see that it was just kind of resting on those roots, and that's why it had to be all on one side. All of those roots coming the one way. I do intend on keeping this pretty small, and I'd like to keep the roots as organized as I possibly could, so I've kind of got down to where I can see basically four. There's one coming here, and I think that one's coming out at a very good angle. And then this one is actually the biggest one, and it's coming out at the worst angle. And so as I try to fix these, I'm gonna go to this one and see if I can fix the angle without breaking it. And I'm gonna be under the impression that if I can, that means I can do the same to the other one. Almost got it there. Other than if I use this entire root spread here. And so this one here would also need to come out. So it's going out and under the tree instead of coming out on the right side. And now you guys can probably barely see that, but that would fix it. All right, so I kind of realized that with no contrasting background, some of that was hard to see. I got those roots spread out. I'm just going to cut them down to the size of that pot. It means I can save most of the root. I'll just cut off the very ends. I got plenty of good weather coming. It's not really, really hot. They stress when it's really, really hot. Everybody says, oh, figs love it hot. But they do stress a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it on top of that pot. And I'm just going to cut it just so it fits in there. And that it's not crowded in there or hanging over the edges. So I'm going to get a new screen in the pot. I'm going to use one of these this time instead of that metal screen. I think I'm going to stop using that. I was using that just because I had a bunch extra laying around. You know, cuttings and stuff like that, but alright, so I'll keep this guy in the shade for a bit. Got it at a whole different angle now on the pot and everything, but probably gonna shoot for that for being the front.